One day, while Judy was sitting at her desk in the office, she began to feel abnormally tired. She didn't pay it any mind, considering it was a Friday, and she couldn't wait for her weekend to start. The weekend she had planned to get away went terrific. It was just what she needed. The next week, at her routine doctor's appointment, her doctor diagnosed her with high blood pressure. Judy was astonished, considering she thought she would never have any problems with her blood pressure because she kept a very close eye over her weight. For the next several minutes, I will be explaining the disease known as high blood pressure, and I will be explaining the different types, the risk factors, symptoms, and ways to treat this disease. Lastly, I will also be informing you on how it can affect your body, and you may not even know it. I will begin by explaining blood pressure and the three kinds of high blood pressure. Since high blood pressure is such a common disease, it is crucial to understand what blood pressure really is. Blood pressure means the force pushing outwards on your arterial walls. Blood pressure is the result of two forces. The first force, known as systolic, is when the heart muscle contracts. It occurs as blood pumps out of the heart and into the arteries. The second force, known as diastolic, is created as the heart muscle rests and fills back up with blood. What is high blood pressure and the three different stages? High blood pressure is the layman term for hypertension. It is termed high blood pressure when the reading is greater than 140/90. Nearly 1/3 of people who have high blood pressure don't even know it. This is why it's called the silent killer, because it has no symptoms. High blood pressure typically develops over many years, but fortunately it can be detected very easily. There are three types of high blood pressure: prehypertension, essential hypertension, and secondary hypertension. Prehypertension is a considerably new disorder. This is when the systolic number reads 120 or over, and diastolic number reads 80 or over. The range for this is 120 to 139 over 80 to 89. Essential hypertension is what most people are diagnosed with, the common high blood pressure. The range is 140 to 159 over 90 to 99. Secondary hypertension is less common and is usually the result of disorders of the adrenal gland, kidney disease, thyroid problems, or sleep apnea. This type is usually diagnosed by blood and urine screenings. The range is 160 and above over 100 and above. Although high blood pressure is very common and is still on the rise in the United States, many still don't know the symptoms or what high blood pressure can really do to your body. Many people believe that you will experience some type of symptom if you have high blood pressure, but that is a complete myth. The truth about high blood pressure is that it is a largely symptomless condition. In most cases, the person will not experience anything, although in a few cases one may do just the opposite. In severe cases of high blood pressure, a person may experience chest pain, confusion, ear buzzing, nosebleed, tiredness, and vision changes. The following are risk and contributing factors of high blood pressure. The risk factors are family history, advanced age, gender, lack of physical activity, poor diet, overweight, and too much alcohol consumption. The contributing factors are stress, smoke, and even secondhand smoke. Arteries are made of muscle and semi-flexible tissues that stretch like elastic when blood is forced through them. Over time, if the force of blood is too high, the tissues of the artery get stretched beyond healthy limit. This can cause a multitude of problems: vascular weakness, vascular scarring, increased risk of blood clots, tissue and organ damage, and increased work on the circulatory system. According to the American Heart Association, you may not feel anything wrong, but high blood pressure can permanently damage your heart, eyes, brain, and kidneys before you even know it. Ultimately, high blood pressure leads to heart attack, heart failure, stroke, and kidney failure. Now, since we all understand what high blood pressure is and how it comes about, I can now discuss how to regulate your blood pressure. If you're diagnosed with high blood pressure, unfortunately there is no cure, but there are numerous ways to control it. To reduce your high blood pressure, you should eat a heart-healthy diet, which is reducing your salt, regular physical exercise, maintain a healthy weight, manage stress, limit alcohol, and try to avoid as much tobacco smoke as possible. There are also many different medicines that can be used to treat high blood pressure. Here are a few examples suggested by the American Academy of Family Physicians. ACE inhibitors, which widen your blood vessels. A few examples are Capitan, Vasotec, and Lotensin. Angiotensin II, which decrease chemicals that narrow the blood vessels. Examples are Cozar, Avapro, and Diovan. Diuretics, commonly known as water pills, help your body get rid of unneeded water and salt through urine. Beta blockers. It blocks the effects of adrenaline, so your heart does not have to work as hard. A few examples are Sectril, Zebeda, and Tenormin. Usually a single blood pressure drug will not be enough to control your high blood pressure. You may need 2 or more. As stated by the National Heart and Lung and Blood Institute, there are many benefits of you keeping your blood pressure in a healthy range. Reducing your risk of vascular walls becomes overstretched and injured. Reducing your risk of your heart having to pump harder to compensate for your blockages. And protecting your body so that your tissues receive regular supplies of blood that is rich in the oxygen that it needs. High blood pressure can affect all types of people, but most of the time can be controlled with medicine and lifestyle changes. The Mayo Clinic suggests slashing salt by just 3 grams a day, equivalent to a teaspoon, could dramatically cut the incidence of heart disease and death. U.S. researchers believe long-term exposure to the air pollution caused by traffic has been linked to an increase in blood pressure. As I stated before, high blood pressure is often called the silent killer because it does not have symptoms. Many people are unaware they even have the illness. But now that we know how to regulate our blood pressure, hopefully this will protect you and the ones close. With that said, I would like to bring my speech to a conclusion. For the last couple minutes, I have been informing you about high blood pressure. I explained its symptoms, risk factors, and gave multiple examples of how to regulate it. Ultimately, I expressed to you how to reduce your risk of hurting your body. Over these past minutes, I hope you learned something that you will take with you to help yourself better your health. So how did Judy end up with her high blood pressure? She was unaware that her grandmother had high blood pressure. She never paid too much attention to her family history, especially medical concerns. Luckily for Judy, she was able to regulate her blood pressure without taking any prescription medicines. She decreased her salt and alcohol intake. Thank you.